Alrighty, we're going to do a quickie on how to do this C83 with a little bit more detail to the actual filing itself. Yesterday I tried, this is a 1/4 inch thick file. This one's 3/16. The 1/4 inch is just too big to fit in there. I can't get enough angle on it, so that's out of the question. There's a standard Oregon file, but like I said, there's no teeth on the side of it where you really want to use it to get into the corner. So you may be able to use a skinnier file, but 3/16. And let's just go ahead and put you up in the tripod and let me get set up. All right, so I got my file in the tooth right here. I'm still gonna file flat like I'd have a round file in my hand. I'm gonna follow my witness mark. And if you can see right there in the corner of the tooth, there's some damage. So just like with any other kind of filing, and I'm gonna tilt this over and I'm touching the raker on the backside. This is a brand new chain that's been run that needs to be filed. So if you were back a little farther, you can get a little bit more top plate angle, but you'll see once we relieve a little bit of this metal, let me get in there, and I am just below the top of the tooth. And I'm trying to, oops, there we go. Really digging in there, trying to get, you gotta love steel brand chain because it's so hard, but when you have to remove some metal, there we go. That top plate's coming around. Not quite there, still got a little bit of damage on the corner. And I'm able to bring the angle of my file down and just barely skate across. There we go, that's perfect. All right, barely kiss that. So there's your angle. And now let me change the angle so you can see what the side plate of this tooth looks like. Okay, so now that tooth is all snaggled tooth, so to speak, right there on that side plate, here's what we're gonna do. Just gonna come in here with your regular round file. This is a 13/64. So I'm gonna just get a little bit of the gullet right there. And then I am going to walk this back. You see there's an air gap right here. I don't want to touch the top plate. You can see if it's cleaning up over there. I'm gonna have to look around. Looks like I walked it right back into that and never touched the top plate. Let's have a look. Yep. That's about as close as I can get you and still stay in focus. There's still a little bit of a, where we at? Right there. A little tiny bit of a beak right there, but that's okay. I mean, maybe another, light stroke, but it didn't seem to bother the chain yesterday. And that gives you that finer top plate and your working corner over here, a nice smooth cut. There's what it looks from the other side, and you can see if I get a little bit more light on there, but there's your transition. So you get that sharper top plate. Now obviously you're going to give up a little bit of durability, but not much. I mean, it's not like that's wafer thin for an angle. Now I did have a lot of people ask me, how is this in relationship to Hexa, or this is like Hexa? So here's what I've ground with my own grinder. So I've profiled a wheel to mimic this. And basically, if you look at a picture of steel Hexa, that corner right there is about 2/3 of the way down, not quite all the way down. Some of these, so that one I got a little deeper on. Let's look at this one. Got a little damage on it. There, that's a great example. Not the whole side plate, but most of it, like 2/3 of it, and that's Hexa. And then, where are we at? Right here. Here's what I ran yesterday. You can still see that little tiny bit of beak where I didn't clean up with a round file, but got that wonderful, super sharp top plate. And here's some out of the box C83. And you can see that beak is, I don't know, what do you say, 1/4, maybe 1/3 of the depth of the side plate. So there's your differences in between Hexa and C83/C85. The only difference in C83 is that it's 50 gauge and the C85 is 58 gauge. That means the thickness of the driver right here, that's 50 thousandths, and then C85 is 58 thousandths to fit in the groove of the bar. I gotta thank everybody for the feedback we've gotten from this one. You know, I think I've talked to a couple other YouTube guys and, you know, wonder why one video does better than the next. And yes, maybe this appeals to more people than me, you know, doing chainsaw repairs or performance work. But 10 people subscribed on this video. You know, YouTube gives us a lot of information. But anyway, it's nice to see that we get a little traction every once in a while. So for those of you who like to grind, there's my profile for Hexa. Now, the factory wheel just has a V shape at the end, and I just flat spot it just because it's easy. You know, you're going to have to retouch your wheels up. So put about a 20-25 degree angle on this. You'll have to angle your head just a little bit more to get underneath the tooth. It cuts phenomenal as well. And this is super easy to grind. If you have one of the original Oregon wheels, throw that thing in the trash and buy some of the Tecumseh brand wheels. The green one is really nice. Cuts 10 times better than the pink wheel from Oregon. And this white one's harder than woodpecker lips. It will do a great job. I don't get it quite as sharp, I don't think, with this as I do with the green one. I like both of them. They're definitely an upgrade over your traditional Oregon wheel. All right, with all that being said, both cutting designs, both the C83 and the Hexa, are going to cut faster out of the box than their traditional round ground predecessors. The 33 RS from Steel is their yellow chain round ground, and the 72 EXJ from Oregon. I don't even think Husky still makes a traditional full chisel round ground chain full sequence. They're just better cutting designs. We'll get into that in just a second. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and maybe it piqued your curiosity to try something at home in your spare time. I don't recommend this as, like an everyday, like if you're a commercial cutter or something like that, or you're out working in the field every day, unless you're sharpening your stuff at home and then bringing sharpened chains to the job site just to take off and put back on. It was a fun exercise. How's that? I would recommend, once you're set up, because yesterday when I filed that chain, I got the flat file out, I did the top profile of the tooth, I put that file down, I picked up the round file, and I did that. I would suggest, once you've kind of got a little bit of rhythm going, stay with the flat file, do the entire chain on that one side, grab your round file, go clean up that extra material and kind of blend that top plate that you just made in with the gullet and the rest of the side plate of the tooth. There's been very little change in cutter technology over the last 20, 30 years. Most of it's just been towards safety, but both X-Cut and Hexa have changed the profile of the tooth. And basically what they're doing is allowing for a shallower angle on the top plate and getting a sharper cutting surface. And then the other thing is, I think if you think about it like a knife, you can't just take a knife and go into something like that. Like say you're trying to slice a tomato, you need a saw. And with that side plate having a little bit of angle to it, just like a well-filed square should have that top plate leaning forward just a little bit. And I think that shearing action reduces the drag on the chain and actually shears the wood fiber in the kerf a little bit better. And that might be that advantage. Now, you guys talk in the comments below. I'm getting a little long-winded here. I wanted this to be short. But anyway, I appreciate everything of y'all. Thanks again for being here. And we'll try something new in the future.